Good greetings, my good dudes. I'm back. This is video number 3. Obviously, it would have been painfully obvious. This is not the Buffalo Hunter video. That will come next, probably. Or the one after. It's kind of a winter book. So I might do a winter instead of like a Halloweeny. Because it's horror, but it's not a Halloween book, you know? That being said, I do need to show you something that is exceptionally fucking stupid and just really silly and goofy. If you just kind of want to understand how much if I had thought about it at the time rather than just being really enthusiastic about like reading it again, probably would have color coded it. I didn't. And that's on me. And that's going to come back to bite me in the ass because I am going to read it a third time and take some of these out. Because some of them are important, and then there's some of them that are just like me getting really excited about this teeny tiny piece of foreshadowing. So, yeah, I'm going to have to cut that down. Now for another thing I probably should have cut down a lot more than I did. ShortBox Comics. Okay, so today we're talking about ShortBox Comics, and I'm really excited about it. A little overexcited because I tried to like cut down the number of books I was going to shout out, and that's still too many. I'll grant you like 2 of them in that stack are like paired with other ones, and I'm not talking about like that individual book, but it is still too many, and I regret it. But I also love them all, and they mean a lot to me, so I do want to tell you about them. Even though, caveat, some of them are not in print, and you cannot find them to read them again, and I feel really bad about talking about them in that instance. However, I'll get to the like reason I want to. That'll be at the end. Speaking of, this is probably going to get much longer than I want or intended it to. So I'm going to put like a couple of timestamps here. Because you can, like I said, a lot of these, they're not available anywhere. So it's not like you can find a copy readily. Some of them you can. And I'll try to remember to point out which ones you can. But there's like a couple things I really want to talk about that are important to me. So you can like skip this middle bit if you want to, I guess, if you don't want to hang out with me for a bit. And go to this timestamp to talk about the actual comics fair. And if you want to skip that part, which I don't know why you would, because it's important, but I'll give you the option. The actual reason I'm making this video and why I wanted to point out the fair is here, and I would appreciate you at least listening to that part. And then maybe go back and listen to the rest of it. So, that being said, like I said, I have a lot to cover because I'm a little too, enthusiastic. Way too enthusiastic a lot of the time. I don't remember the word that I actually need. I'm hoping to get this done before my neighbors get home from work because I just got home from work and I want to get it out. Also because I want to get it out so I have time to prep for D&D. That's this weekend. And then I can edit it the next week. And still get this out before the end of September. So, lots of things happening. Lots of things to do. Lots of things to cover. I'm going to break down how this video is going to go. Because, once again, I have a lot of things to cover. I'm going to talk about I'm also going to keep this so brief as I can possibly do, because I filmed this twice already and each time was well over 3 hours. Like the first time I didn't time it correctly, and I also screwed up something with the mic, and you can just hear stomping back and forth above my head the entire time. Anyway, I have notes on paper. I'm going to be looking at my notes a lot because I don't want to get anything wrong. And I'm probably going to try to have a lot of pictures so you won't have to look at the top of my head while I'm looking down at things. So, brief history of ShortBox Comics. Then I'm going to talk about the physical books that mean a lot to me. And then I'm going to talk about the comics fair. And then I'm going to shout out a couple of artists who really stood out to me that are featured exhibitors this year. And then closing thoughts. At least I have a plan. So, happy to have you here. Happy for you to stick around. Oh, in the same vein of me hopping around and trying to keep things succinct, the editing is gonna be whack. I just can bet already. It's not gonna be smooth and it might be a little jumpy. And we're gonna have to deal with that. And if you can hear my tummy, I'm a fragile little guy. And as of this moment in filming, I can't take constructive criticism of any kind. So, once again, if you hear something untoward, no, you didn't. We're having a nice time being extremely enthusiastic about stuff. Okay, this is already a disaster. I forgot to turn my AC off so it stopped kicking on. ShortBox Comics. Tiny indie comics publisher, founded in 2016 by Leeds-based freelance writer and comics journalist Zainab Akhtar. And they ran until last year, I want to say March was like its official end, which makes me very sad. And I've had like a year to just like walk into my living room and see my books up there and get very sad about it. But I still love everything I've gotten from them, which is why we're going to talk about books here in a minute. Previous to jumping into comics publishing, Zainab ran a blog and website called Comics and Cola, an Eisner nominated website, and chiefly would talk about and platform and shine lights on like indie and small press comics, but also international comics, and especially like underserved communities that would like largely be ignored by the greater popular big comics industry, which is a shame because they could really use some new voices. But that being said, somebody said that the other day and it just keep saying that being said, and it's stupid and I don't like it. She ran this comics website, which is how I know about her, and I just became very enamored with her reviewing style and the like comics that she would choose to talk about and review and platform. And I think being familiar with her work and reading her work really made me a more conscientious reader, I suppose is the word. She's very thoughtful on what she writes about and who she chooses, and is also like very deliberate in her choices. And it's expanded my brain a whole hell of a lot, and I'm deeply appreciative of it. So Comics and Cola, I believe, officially shuttered in 2017. Somebody appears to own that URL now, but it's not the same, and I don't know who it is, and therefore it doesn't matter to me, because if it's not Zainab, it's not Comics and Cola as far as I'm fucking concerned. So jumping over into making, like, publishing and being a publisher, if I remember right, like, what eventually became ShortBox Comics wasn't intended to be a publisher. I think she had said she wanted to do a like a curated bundle of books that she could like give to people, because I'm not the only one who loves her brain and is very, very, who enjoys and trusts her opinion to the point like she could suggest fucking anything and I'll probably try to read it. So it was a like a bundle of comics self-published by the creators themselves that she was intending to do, but everybody wanted to create something new, and she was like, well, how the fuck are we going to do that? So she became a publisher and published them herself, and it eventually became a quarterly subscription box. And I don't have a complete collection. I could not afford to get every single box, but I would try to, like, in between times, like some of the books and the stock left over, I would try to like go on the website and buy a couple every now and then when I could afford it. Curated box of 5 beautifully bound and printed, and just the pages, let me fucking tell you, the quality of these, always fantastic, always superb. 5 books, a like beautifully unique art print, and a piece of candy, which is always exciting. Exciting to get, especially like even in the not the subscription box, you get a little piece of candy and like a little treat, maybe a sticker or a pin. I do have a couple ShortBox pins still, and it's just always some, like, it was a holiday every time I got them. They're so excited about them. I actually, when I moved into this apartment and finally set up art on my walls and was like looking for my stash of prints and things, there's one ShortBox one that I'm just deeply, deeply attached to, as it came from an artist I know about because of ShortBox, and I love her work and love following her. This print, and I'll put a picture of it here because I'm not going to get up and mess up my janky setup again. Oh, my neighbors are home. But this piece by Sarah Alfagi, I don't, like, I can't pinpoint the parts of it that, like, I'm so attached to, but it's so beautiful. Like, sometimes, especially if I'm high as hell, I do kind of just, like, when I walk to my living room, I'll look up at my wall. It's in the pride of place. It's above my record player. I can fall into it, and I just love looking at it still, even after all of these years. You should also go follow Sarah Alfagi because she's brilliant. Moving in and putting art up on my walls, I had like a week where I could not find the box that I was keeping all of my like small prints in, because like thinking that I had lost this piece that is so important to me. And I just had like the worst week of my fucking life. And then I just opened my closet and like, yeah, it's right fucking there with all of my, like, how stupid can I be? That's not the point. It's just really important to me, and I really, really liked it. ShortBox is great. We're going to talk about the books now, and I'm going to try very hard not to fumble and forget what I'm saying again. Do you want to see a little guy? Oh, hi. This is my man. Isn't he just the sweetest little fellas? Look at him little face. He's just so sweet. He's not happy with me right now, but he's so sweet. Yeah, okay. I'm going to try to keep this succinct, because like I said, some of these are not like readily available. I just want you to just see the quality of things, see the breadth of creativity that she's so very, very good at discovering and cultivating and curating. That's the point of this section primarily. So I'm going to try to keep these short, but some of these books, even when they're small, they're very, very big, and I've got very, very big feelings about them, and they're all very, very big and beautiful and wonderful. Also, I know it does kind of come with talking about comics because it is a visual medium. I am an artist, aside from all of the many other like skills and hobbies and jobs that I fucking have, because I don't like to be idle, it turns out. I'm going to talk about the art quite a lot. This is like arguably one of the more important parts of comics, but it's just to warn you, I'm like that. So the first book we're going to cover is Homunculus by Joe Sparrow. Joe is an illustrator and animator based out of London, UK, not Canada. You've undoubtedly seen his work because he's worked on Owl House, Amphibia. I believe there's a character named after him in Amphibia. Elliot from Earth and Adventure Time. And I believe also, that Arctic Monkeys music video, Do I Want to Know? That's him. So you've seen his work and you know it's good. Homunculus is this beautiful, beautiful, beautiful book. And it's also really interesting. Hello, sir. Don't scratch up my notes. I swear to God. This is what I get for having an orange sun. It's very interesting. All of the panels are told from this single, like, static point of view. Like, all of the art is from the point of view of Daisy, who is a several ton cube, like, artificial intelligence, sentient thinking machine. And it's such an emotionally devastating book. So it's about Daisy. It's from the moment she wakes up and is given life, and the scientist who created her, Veronica. And it's this first section of the book. Also, these are going to be probably spoiler expensive, I think is what I'm going to go with. They're spoiler expensive. So it's her and Veronica getting to know each other and developing this relationship, and it's Daisy learning math and learning numbers and languages, and then also learning games like chess and Go. But there's this one line she says when they're playing Go, and it's, this game makes such lovely shapes. And that's just such a good, because you think of teaching those types of games to thinking machines and them being like learning how to strategize and all of this, not make shapes and pictures. And I think that's such a beautiful sentiment right there. Like teaching her how to sing songs and listening to the Beatles. And it's just a really lovely moment in this section of moments. But you also get these like glimpses of the outside world outside of this room and well beyond what Daisy has like view of and access to, of a world deeply, deeply, deeply at unrest. It's very familiar. But you see like news clippings and you hear radio bits, and it's just looking worse and worse and more dire outside of this like cocoon that she's created. And then the like investor, like Veronica's boss, needs to come by and see Daisy, and he's like threatening to pull funding and to kill Daisy essentially, because she's not a machine made for war. Like, this is a government funded army facility. Like, that's where this money is coming from. And Veronica has, instead of teaching her how to kill, she's taught her how to make art and how to sing songs. And when that alert goes out and all of this unrest comes to a head and the missiles start to fly, it's so heartbreaking because Veronica wastes time and doesn't evacuate or shelter because she comes back to say goodbye to Daisy and to teach her how to, like, keep from withering away and keep from losing her program, like, functions, to sing the song Bonnie Lies Over the Ocean to herself, to keep things working until Veronica can return. And Veronica doesn't return, and it's most heartbreaking pages of Daisy watching the world around her rot and crumble and fall away as she awaits the return of somebody who isn't going to return. And it's beautiful. I'm really, really obsessed with the style of Joe Spiro. It can seem simple, I suppose, but it's really not. He has like clean, simple lines and shapes, but there is so much detail and expression in his work. It's good. It's so good. There's so much to it, which is in such a relatively simple, short book about just the idea that Daisy, when she's eventually discovered, how many, many years later, sir, please stop. Why? He's clawing at a tent. Oh, excuse you. There you go. Okay. Discovered so many years later to find out she's this lost time capsule of a time when, like, this future utopia after this swift and devastating war is returning to this part of this land that hasn't been touched since the missiles dropped. And the last time capsule of that time, the last vestiges of knowledge from that time, and it's the art and it's music and it's shapes instead of like war and killing. And that's beautiful, and it fucks me up so completely and entirely. I'm deeply attached to it. That was a lot of more talking than I planned on, but the point is, Homunculus, Joe Spiro, fantastic. Next, I want to talk about Gonzalo by Jed McGowan, which I shouted out, I think, in my last video. I'm going to try to keep this shorter, even though I think this might be my favorite book from ShortBox's time. I'm just so enamored with it. I like his art style. It's really soft, and especially for what the story is about. Jed McGowan is a illustrator and cartoonist based in California, and he's won, I think, a Zarek Foundation grant winner, Best American Comics 2019. His book, which I'm going to put right here because I didn't write the name down of, but it looks so cute, was a 2024 Young Adult Library Services Association great graphic novel for teens. It was named that. And he's also, with this book, I believe it was this book, Ignatz nominated. Also, I don't know if I said, there's going to be links to all of the individual artists and creators that I shout out. So down at the bottom, there's going to be links to their websites or whatever their most active site is. But Gonzalo, he just has such a soft, like chalk colored pencil style that is just really nice, and it feels very comforting when the story might not entirely be. So Gonzalo tells the story of a robotic bear that has been in the field for decades and is falling apart, and their computer isn't, the maps aren't accurate anymore because it's living in a world post like societal collapse. The cities have gone dark, and the scientists that created this bear haven't come back to repair or retrieve the data because it's been made to monitor and help a repopulation effort for the California grizzly. And bears, of course, are now also very rare. I think in the book, it says they rescued Gonzalo, this tinier bear, this cub from a wildfire in the Sierras, and has started, like, rather than just watching and observing and reporting, they are raising Gonzalo because this is such a dangerous world and they've seen no other bears. Like, they haven't found a mate for Gonzalo to help repopulate, and they're struggling so hard to let go like they should, like an actual bear would, like a mother bear would have let their cub go by this point. But they are still holding on and holding out and hoping to teach him as much as they can before they leave. And it has some of, like, emotionally devastating. It's, a lot of them are going to be emotionally devastating. Because she choose to, when they are come upon by humans, by a couple of people living off the land as best they can, hoping to have a meal, and rather than fight and rather than try to run when she knows her, like, systems are failing and her body is failing, she chooses to push Gonzalo away and to scare him off into the, like, wilderness to hopefully, like, continue to live on with all that she's taught him, and allows herself to get shot and essentially, like, finally continue to die and by, like, these hunters. And, like, in one of her final moments is like, they can't eat me because my body is made of metal, but I do hope they take the fur from me for warmth because winter's almost coming, and that's hard. But it's at its, like, core, it's a story of, don't take those parental, those motherly, those caring figures for granted. Those things that gave you life, including the planet Earth. Like, don't expect that to be there forever. And especially when you've been so, like, ruthlessly taking and taking and taking, you know, the giving tree kind of, it's not always going to be there. Oh, there's another baby. There's one part I do want to read. I got distracted because my other cat came out, and she's just so unbelievably cute. It's just, it's lovely. There was no answer. My secondary computer had shut down, and I would soon do the same. I thought of Callisto. She was a bear and a human, and I was a bear with a mind programmed to be like a human's. But a god hadn't made me this way. The researchers had. That is, like, a section that just absolutely stopped me in my fucking tracks the first time I read it. There's also this, like, final line that is just that killed me. I did not always follow protocol, but I hope this account will show you why I've done the things I've done. Ugh, somebody to fucking watch. Next I'm going to talk about Cat and Bag by Vivian Schwartz. It is a collection of, like, a collected selection, I suppose, of Vivian's webcomic, Cat and Bag. Cat being a stand-in for Viv, I assume. They refer to her as Viv in the comics. And Bag being a physical manifestation of what it's fucking like to have anxiety. She's a London-based illustrator and author. She's some adorable-looking children's books. She's a internationally published, won Little Rebels Award, English Association Award, and shortlisted for the Roald Dahl Funny Award, among many, many others. And she also works on game design and installation design with, like, an emphasis on accessibility, which is very good and interesting. Her website's really cool and interesting. There's a part I want to read from her website when talking about Cat and Bag. And I wanted to show what anxiety and panic disorder is like. How there's more to life than being either tragic or inspirational. Exceptional work. Her art style is very charming. And it's really cute and sweet. And also, boy howdy, does some of these fucking, I feel them. There's one of my favorite, I'm going to show you, and I'm going to read it for you. She says, "Well done." Or she's lying on the floor, and Bag is sitting next to her. And Bag says, "Well done." And she says, "What?" "Exhaustion is the only way to know you did a good job." Or did good work. Sorry, I'm reading upside down. "I'm taking tomorrow off. Then you will die." "Good point." "Hang on, no I won't." "Yes you will. Everybody dies." "I'm tired of this." What did she say? "You can sleep on the floor. It's good for your back." Like, yes, also valid. It's very delightful and it's very fun. And it's just a very good comic. And it's very, very, very much, yes, it is exactly just living with debilitating anxiety and panic disorders. It's very real. It's very good, and I very much appreciate what her point was in doing that, like in creating this comic, and why she wanted to collect them all and show them to people. It was like, yeah, not every single fucking person with anxiety who has panic attacks is an inspiration. And it's not always tragic. Some of us are just fucking living, you know? And I appreciate that a lot. I love it. I believe you still can find archives of the actual original comic. While I don't think you can get this, like, collection. But you can find archives on her website, I believe. Next, we're going to talk about What Is Left by Rosemary Valero O'Connell. I want to say O'Connor, but it's not. This one I do believe you can still find. It was also published in a later publication from ShortBox called Don't Go Without Me, which is, I think, a collection of just 3 stories by Rosemary, which is, if you can find this, if it's still available, please, for the love of God, think about getting it, because it's absolutely beautiful. Her art style, if you've seen Scavenger's Reign, there's something very reminiscent in this very organic, like, flow, especially in her, like, backgrounds and landscapes. That's just absolutely fantastic, and it is equally as fucking heartbreaking. Anyway, it's a great show, and if you haven't seen it, please, for the love of God, go watch it, because it is fantastic. Also watch the short film that preceded it, because oh my God, it is somehow better than the show. And that's, like, already a high fucking bar. What Is Left is a story of an engineer, or a biomechanic, named Isla, in a ship that is powered by memories. I don't remember if it's a single donor or if it's like the crew is donating these memories. And it's supposed to be safe, except this ship in the deep vacuum of space blows up, and Isla is the only survivor. And what saves her from this after everyone else was killed in this like disaster is she falls into the reservoir of memories. I believe Kilo is the woman whose memory she falls into, and it's such a beautiful, painful kind of tragedy in the like realizing how closed off you've been when you see it reflected against somebody who is so open and vibrant. It's this need and wish for connection, and only really realizing that you need it when it's too late, because Isla is so aloof and has like admits she hasn't said more than 10 fucking words, that's the phrase, hasn't said more than like 10 words to Kilo, and the entire time they were on this ship traveling. And now to see how much she would have loved and enjoyed being around Kilo and just existing in the same place as her, and then not being able to, it's also like a reflection of again, if you've seen Scavenger's Reign, slight spoiler, the sections of Cayman and Hollow, and this like going through these memories and seeing the bits that he needs to see, rather than being tortured by them and manipulated by them, seeing those like reflections and growing and knowing who he is like reflected against him. But if Hollow had shown him someone else's memories rather than his own, it's what it feels like, but a lot more cathartic in a way. It's lovely. It's fantastic. Her art is so flowy and detailed, and the cats they're crawling around the donut. So if you can hear that, that is Shortbread feet on the ceiling running in circles around their donut. And I love her, like the tones she uses, and I like her pencil style, because this book is 2 colors. It is purple and like shades of that like lavender purple, and then this beautiful dusty pink. But all of her backgrounds, they feel so like you can feel the greenery and the freshness and like the rain on trees. It's beautiful. I cannot recommend her work enough. I forgot to talk about her. She's a cartoonist and illustrator currently based out of Brooklyn. They have like worked with a number of like comics giants, including First Second, DC Comics, Boom Studios. They've also worked with Sony Animation, Crunchyroll, Wizards of the Coast, for those nerdy fuckers out there. She's won a Harvey Award, a Prism, Society of Illustrators Gold Medal, Prince Honor, and multi-time winner and nominee of Eisner's and Ignatz Awards. She's brilliant. If you haven't seen her stuff, you should go seek her out. She's fantastic. Minotaur by Lisa Treman. This is a very just delightful, like you would know her art from John Allison's. Hey, it's me. It's Editing Sam. I'm here mid-edit to become Recording Sam, because somehow I destroyed the end of the video. I don't know how. Those files, they're gone. They're destroyed. I done fucked something up. I don't know what. If I ever figure it out, that'll be the fucking day. So I just, while I'm here, wanted to pop in and say, the comic that Lisa Treman worked on is called Giant Days, written by John Allison. It's not whatever the fuck I said in the recording, because I must have looked at a word somewhere that was incorrect and then just didn't realize. So, Giant Days. Absolutely fantastic comic. I'll be back later to do end of the video. She's just fantastic. She's so wiggly. I love her wiggly, long-limbed, gangly people. I like pigeon-toed. They're so just lovely. I love her style. So Minotaur, I should read you the part that I wrote in my notes because I thought it was, actually, Lisa's an American illustrator. She's a story artist and director at Disney Animation. And, I didn't write down. She's done a lot of movies. I'll name some of them here. Jesus Christ, Sam. Dina and Mel undertake a harrowing journey through the labyrinthine Isles of Icos to find the fabled Minotaur. A journey that puts their sanity and friendship to the test. Icos, of course, being a giant Swedish home goods store, not to be confused with that other one that we're not talking about. So, Dina and Mel are like college grads, best friends, now they're roommates, and Dina would like to start replacing some of their shabby, falling apart college furniture, and my cats keep standing in front of my lamp. And it's just such a fun, delightful story about like finding home with your people and what that looks like and what that means. Even as silly as replacing a bookshelf, but also the horrors of going shopping with somebody. And also, there's a fold-out fucking map. Of Icos. And it's good and funny. I think it's still, like, somewhere online. I thought I saw that in my research. I forgot to write it down. Please look it up, because it's so it's charming and funny, and it's Lisa's work at its like most unrestrained, and being so funny and just inventive and lovely. Okay. Beneath the Dead Oak Tree by E.M. Carroll. It is lush. It is full. It is spilling over with detail and charm and beauty and this colors. E.M. Carroll, you probably know. I wrote all of them like little teeny tiny bios. Sorry, I'm watching my cats fight and it's very funny. And I keep forgetting to read them. They're an Ontario-based comic artist and writer, and also a game designer, and you should play the Yogg because it's really fucking good. And their work's been won multiple Schuster, including for this book, Schuster Awards, Joe Schuster Awards, Doug Wright Awards, Eisner's, Ignatz, and British Fantasy Awards. They're well known for, once again, spoilers, because I don't remember if you can find this online or not. Just some really, truly, like, brutally 3, 2, 1 for gore. Just absolutely beautiful, vicious gore. They typically write a lot of folk horror style, a lot of no one is innocent and everyone is hiding something. Deep, dark, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful books. This one is the story of a young fox who's at court, like flirting with the prince and dancing and being on his arm, and of course she wouldn't meet a scoundrel like him beneath the dead oak tree, would she? No, in the middle of the night? Never. But she does go even after denying him that. but sees that he's there with another woman and she was so worried, like so fearful and afraid that she is that replaceable, that because she said no once, he found somebody else. And then he brutally murders her and eats her and tears her apart and stashes her body in the roots of the dead oak tree. And yeah, it's great. A part that I didn't catch like the first couple times reading it when it originally came out, I kind of just forgot it was a Carol book, and forgot that our protagonist isn't like this innocent young victim necessarily, that she has a dark side in her. And so I didn't clock as much of the jealousy in the later pages, because she does keep flirting with him, but it's also of the time she would have been expected to. What was she going to do? Say no to the fucking prince? Of course not. So I took the turn, because in the end, like, he keeps flirting with her and dancing, and she keeps reciprocating, and then he proposes, and everyone is watching, expecting her to say yes, and then she does, because they're expecting her to say yes. What else is she going to do? And they wed, and he never again asks her to the dead oak tree. Time out. Phone call. I don't remember where I left off, but I never clocked the jealousy in her. Hopefully you didn't have to also just listen to my cat piss. I never clocked that jealousy, because he never again asks her to meet him. Like, they're married and he treats her presumably well, but he's never asked her to meet him again. And it's that, like, am I not worthy of being taken out there to be fucking murdered? And so she kills him in his sleep. And I took that more as like, when else do I have a way to fight against you and this and all of that, rather than why the fuck am I not good enough? So it's one I need to read again. I did spoil it, even though I think it's still available somewhere out there and you should look it up. It's worth it to read, because I'm like, the rhyme itself is absolutely stunning. It's high quality. Read absolutely everything they've ever fucking written. Through the Woods is great. His Face All Red is one of my favorite stories from there. Read them. Cry Wolf Girl by Ariel Rice. And I took this part from their site because it made me laugh when I read it. They are an eggplant and or human based in Narm, Australia, and they've won gold at the 2020 Comics Awards of Australia, and they are multi-time nominee and winner of Ignatz Awards, including for this fucking wonderful book. They also, there were going to be more in this stack, but I lost a couple small ones. And I think, and one of the only ones out of there that I think you can still find on their Gumroad is Bowser and Luigi Are in Love, which is true. They are fucking in love. And it's such a, like, it's exactly what you think it is. It's a fucking delight. Go look up their Gumroad. It's worth every penny. It's such a cute little fucking zine. Cry Wolf Girl is the story of Dawa, who has lost all of her family to a fever, and is like, one of the final things her mother made her promise was to not be like the boy who cried wolf, to not cry wolf and not be a burden and not trick people. And so living with that promise and that trauma, when Dawa starts to see signs of wolves in the village, to see fur and to see tracks and to hear howling in the distance, she struggles with the choice to take that to the village elders. And she does gently say, I saw this, maybe we should see, maybe something is out there. And they deny her and in a lot of ways mock her every single time she does. Because, like, what would she know about that? Like, she's not a hunter. She's just a girl, and a traumatized girl at that. She's probably making it up. And that's so painful and brilliant. And I think these moments of fear and panic and anxiety as she struggles with this choice to, like, am I seeing this? Am I really truly making this up? Am I crazy because there's nothing there? Or is this an actual wolf? Like, that fear and panic and those anxiety attacks are so real and visceral. This one, I won't spoil. It has been reprinted. Oh God, Silver Sprocket is the publisher. It's been reprinted in a hardcover edition, which I'm very excited about, with like spot, like foil and gloss, and a lot of bonus material, and an afterword by Ariel. And I think somebody should get it for me for my birthday, which is in November. I'm just saying. I'm a little guy who sometimes deserves nice things. And this is fantastic, and you should look it up and absolutely go fucking read it. Please go buy it. Sobek by James Stokoe, who is known for like giant like Godzilla comics. He was an illustrator on Godzilla, so he does a lot of like big, beefy monster battles and kaiju. He's extensive body of work with Image, IDW, Marvel, Dark Horse, Oni, and he's been nominated for multiple Eisners, Doug Wright Awards, Joe Shuster Awards. Like, he's fantastic. And he's got such a wonderfully detailed style, and his color choices just feel so lush and verdant and fecund, and like just, ooh, like it's a good images to dive into. So this is about followers of Sobek, the guy, are like traveling down the Nile to reach him, and because they need to like beseech him for assistance, because one of his patron cities, the city of Shadet, which I believe is modern day Fayoum, I'm pretty sure, which was actually historically one of his patron cities, which I really do appreciate that detail. Like, we beseech you, like, we need help. The city, your temple, has been overrun by the cult of Set. Please come and get them out, because they're making everything horrible. And he says, and I quote, "Yeah, okay, I'll take care of it." Which the comedy of that, like, I love two straight men, but two, like, opposing straight men in a comedy of, like, these very, like, self-serious, like, worshippers of his are using, like, such dense language and being so, like, dramatic, but also so formal in a lot of ways. And then he's just like using like millennial English, and it's so funny and charming. But he's also a fucking crocodile. So much of the book is him traveling and then eating and having to nap, because crocodile metabolisms are fucking wild. And it's just like, there's so much comedy in it. But my favorite page is when people at the docks in Shadet see him coming over the dunes and are so excited, and then he's not moving. Like, why isn't he moving? Because he's fucking napping. They're so excited, and like, what the fuck? And then suddenly he's there, because they've all fallen asleep, and suddenly he's awake again, and like, wah! It's just a lovely, charming, so funny. His art style is so good. Story of like, maybe don't release something you don't understand the power of, because Sobek is going to grab Set by the ankle and then do a death roll on him out of the city and destroy absolutely everything in his wake. And you're not really, like, it's a patron city of his, but it's not really a city anymore. It is kind of just rubble. Because the crocodile's gonna crocodile. Because, like, that's what Sobek's known for. He is kind of just absolutely ruthless, even though he is, like, a protector deity. He's still a fucking crocodile. And hopefully I say her name correctly. She's a Spanish creator, Julia Vicente. I hope. I'm so sorry if that's not it. Julia Vicente. I See a Night. This is a book that came out in the very, very final short box. And it follows a young girl named Olivia who sees this knight everywhere she goes. All of the time. There's just always a headless knight that's always following her, and nobody else sees them, and they all just appreciate her creativity and imagination. But she sees this knight, and when she finally like gets brave enough to go up to them, also just such a well-written child, the knight says, "Wait, so you can see me?" And Olivia says, "I ask the questions, your name and allegiance now, please." And I says, "I'm Sierra. I'm neutral, I guess." And then on the next page, Olivia says, "New troll? You look too pretty for that, but okay. I'm Olivia." That's such a kid. That's kid shit. That's absolutely kid shit. It's so charming and delightful. And she's just such an inquisitive child, always asking Sierra this night, like, why are you here? Why can't no one else see you? And Sierra eventually divulges that, like, I'm bound to you. Like, I am here to protect and watch over you. And it's a curse of mine to have to do that. But it's like, but no more questions. You're a kid. They'll tell you when you're older. And so, like, Sierra does stay with her, and they form a friendship, which seems to surprise Sierra a lot. And so Sierra stays with Olivia, like, through school and friendships and her first crush and exams, and then off to college and her first real relationship and her first heartbreak. And it becomes very apparent that Olivia has figured out this death omen, this reminder of mortality following her, this reaper who will take her when it's time, and has figured it out and is living with it because she refuses to. When it happens, it'll be her choice, and when she knows and when she figures it out, it's like it's on her choice. And I'm fine, because Sierra's done this so many times before, and this is the first one who's seen her and who's chosen to know her and love her, who's seen her. Like, I want to read a couple of these passages as she's like thinking on those people that she's watched and guarded and looked over in the past, only to finally then be seen at the very end. I'm not sure which was the greater pain, to care for someone their whole life and yet never be seen by them, or to be seen at last by the person you care for most, but only in that final moment as a demon, as their death, one after the other, until you. And now I understand. I understand what eternal damnation truly is. To be seen, to look into your eyes, to be loved. And it is... I'm not going to cry. I'm fine. So beautiful. I believe this is... I'm fine. This is Julia's first English language published book, which is fantastic. And I need to learn to speak other languages because it's not looking hopeful, because I can't fucking barely read or speak English at this point. I'm rural Kansas, man. Whew. This is superb. This is beautiful. It's perfect. It's so lovely, and it packs such a devastatingly wonderful punch. And I love it very, very much. It also came with this teeny tiny little zine, this little like process showing like early work and like thumbnails as she like works out how to like draw stuff and like how the story will go. And it's so fucking delightful. It kind of makes up for how much I fucking cried the first time I read it. It's so good. And regardless, I don't know if the English version is available. I do believe it's still available in French. A download is still available. Might have to check her website. She's fan fucking tastic. I would love to see more of her. I forgot to read her bio fucking again. She's an illustrator, comics artist, and author, and she's once again based in Spain, primarily published in Spanish and French, I believe. And her work's been Ignatz recognized, and there's a whole lot of other awards that I will absolutely butcher the pronunciations of, but she's truly fantastic. Hey, I said I'd be back, and I am. And you are going to unfortunately have to listen to people doing work on the building behind mine because they couldn't do it yesterday when there was no rain and I was just had a migraine bad and couldn't record or edit or do anything. And they have to do it today where there's 100% chance of rain, which means they won't be able to get up on the roof anyway. Make it make sense. We're here to talk about the ShortBox Comics Fair, one of the greatest and my favorite things to happen in comics. It has been running for every October for the entire length of October since 2021. And it's just, it's a beautiful just gathering of some of the coolest, most innovative, interesting art and voices imaginable. And it's so fucking cool. I want to read a teeny tiny little thing from the website from Zainab because she'll phrase it better than I will because I will fumble the fuck my way through it, as we know. So, from the site, the aim of the fair is to serve as a creative impetus for artists to make something new, to provide a platform for fresh and unique independent comics all gathered in one place, and to connect readers with an array of work diverse in style and approach. And that's what the fuck it is. And it's fantastic. There's always like well over 100 artists every time. There's well over 150 this year. And they all look phenomenal. Like if I had looked longer to pull up like the list of artists that looked interesting from this year, it would have been like all of them because not a damn one looks bad. But I'm only doing 9. And it hurts me to only be doing 9, but I do also very much love the ones that I chose. So we'll cover a couple more in a minute. The Comics Fair is just so wonderful. I think one of my favorite parts of it is just the breadth of work on display because it is always so interesting. It's always so new, and it is unique, and it is like a huge array of styles, and it is so accessible because it's all online and it's all digital, and you don't have to like go gather with a whole bunch of people. There's no like, you don't have to pay to get in and look at them. You don't have to deal with getting hugely sick. It's wonderful, and it's so important to me because it is so accessible, and it is providing this really cool, interesting space for readers to discover something new and discover their new favorite fucking artists, which I've got a couple on my list here. I don't know if I can like properly emote my appreciation for ShortBox Comics Fair, but I need to share my enthusiasm for it because I cannot contain it. And I believe, like me, if you just take a glance at the Exhibitors page, you will stumble on an artist you've never heard of, and they will be your new favorite artist. I wholly believe that. You will stumble on a book that you wouldn't have otherwise found in your local comic shop, that you wouldn't have immediately picked up, and it will be your new favorite book and it will mean so much to you. So I'm going to cover a couple artists from the well over 150. Like, there's no possible way you can look through there and not find like something that speaks to you. So I'm going to cover a couple artists that really speak to me. Apit Nobaka. She's an illustrator and like comics artist from Indonesia, and her book Crushes looks adorable. I was just like immediately taken with these like big poppy expressive like shapes and colors. Like, they're just so cute, and I don't want that to sound demeaning. Like, it just really cute style, and I need more of it in my life. Like, it is just so bright and shapy, and I love it. Pepe Reyes. They are an illustrator and comics artist from the Philippines. I'm obsessed. I've seen like bits and pieces of their work in passing, but I haven't like really dove in. I'm very excited to see what they're bringing this year, because their work is just, it's like the full breadth of how chaotic and beautiful and wild nature is. It's such a fecund, like this wild, beautiful, deep illustrations of like this forests and trees, and like I just want to walk into them and get lost. They're gorgeous. Yara El Fuli is a animator, comics artist, printmaker, and I'm in absolute love with her environmental design and these beautiful, like these deep landscapes. They're so gorgeous. The lighting is insane. Like, there's so much depth and character and detail into these like huge, expansive environments and cityscapes, and they just look like they're so real I could be there. Like, there's so much thought put into these designs and the layout. And then her character design work is just so whimsical. Like, all of these like really sharp or wiggly or organic shapes that really inform just immediately everything you need to know about this character. And it's really cool, and I really want to see what she's bringing because I'm obsessed. Artyom Trakhanov is a Siberian artist and like video game illustrator based in Belgrade currently. And I'm so excited to see what he's bringing. And I don't want this to take away from either his work or Mignola's, but his work is very, very reminiscent of Mike Mignola, of these like beautiful, jagged, sharp line work with these deep, solid shadows that I just love. He's also, on his Gumroad, got a Hellboy zine and also a Dune zine, and I'm very excited to read both of those because his art is just gorgeous. Like, there's something a little bit more frenetic to it than Mignola's that I just am obsessed with. He typically seems to do like sci-fi and fantasy and folk horror, which I'm really hoping his work in the comics fair this year is folk horror, because it's just such a good style for that. I'm very excited to see that. That's just automatically going in the cart. Riot Bones. They are an illustrator from the Philippines, and I'm very, 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 very extremely excited because I am at least slightly familiar with their work. I've seen this beautiful Hades piece before, but I've seen it like stolen and posted uncredited on Tumblr, which is weird because it would have been so fucking easy to just go reblog it from them, from their own fucking Tumblr. But whatever. I've seen it. I was obsessed with it. I forgot that reverse image search is a thing I could have used to find them, but I found them now. Because I kind of just like, oh, Riot Bones, that sounds fun. And I was like, oh, I know this. I know their art. So The War and the Maiden sounds like a fantastic book. Immediately getting it. Like war and a story and meet in a library as the world is falling down around, like outside of the walls of this place. Like, I'm fucking there. And their art's amazing. I'm fucking there. I'm absolutely there. I'm there. Okay, Tooth Decay, which I had like originally clicked on her name from the Exhibitors page. I was like, that's odd. Teeth are weird. I love those weird little like bone knives exploding from our skulls. She's a fucking dentist. She's a dentist and comics artist from Cairo. Like, already, I'm impressed. I found her art just be very charming. And I really, really liked scrolling her Instagram. So I've just like, new favorite person alert. I'm really excited to see her book, Doormat, I believe is what it's called, that will be on offer at the fair this year. Also immediately going in the cart. Like, she's so cool. Albert Chicon is a Peruvian illustrator and cartoonist. I believe he's currently based in Minneapolis. I like his book for the fair this year, Rabbit Hole, looks lovely. I really, really want to know more. But I was also like scrolling through his portfolio, and there's just, his colors are absolutely lovely. But like the texture that he puts into them is so interesting. And it looks like if I just rubbed my hand on the screen I'm looking at it through, I would be able to feel it. I want to touch his work because the texture is so good. So good. I'm obsessed. I'm obsessed with a lot of things. I've found 9 new people to be obsessed with, and I'm sure it will grow exponentially once actual October hits. But it's true. I'm obsessed. Alex Seipel. They are a Venezuelan-American multidisciplinary artist with like a focus on writing and direction for animation. And like I see that very readily in their art because it's so frenetic. Like there is so much movement that, like, when you open their website, there's this like big, beautiful illustration of like people waiting at a crosswalk in the rain. And it looks like just a paused image of, or like a photo taken through a rainy cab window of watching people just waiting at a crosswalk. Like there's so much movement and energy in the way they use like their lines and their colors and these like jagged shapes and textures. I'm just really excited to see how that translates to comics because it's just so interesting. And there's like so many pieces from their portfolio that look like paused, like image stills. Like they're so composed for a movie that it looks like these characters are gonna move and we're just gonna like follow them with the camera. I'm very excited because it's so cool. Nabil Rushan. He is a illustrator and animator from Pakistan. And another like immediate in the shopping cart, Lil Burgers looks phenomenal. It looks so fun and chaotic while also having just absolutely like beautiful, like almost satirical in the way it's presented, political commentary. And I'm so excited to see like what it's about because like even like some of the pages that he's posted, like that opening image of that like fist of dollars like just looming above Islamabad, just ready to strike at any moment. It's such a wild, fantastic image that's really, really stuck with me and very much made me excited for this book. I'm so fucking there. I am so fucking there. Now imagine that like wealth of creativity times like 100. Because that was only 9 artists. That was 9. There's 150 more that are doing stuff I couldn't even fucking imagine. And I just haven't sat down and discovered them yet. The fair's gonna be an absolute fucking banger this year. Be there. Also don't do what I did the first year that I got books. Because these books aren't published directly by ShortBox, they're just being like gathered by ShortBox for this short amount of time. They probably will be available from at the very least most of the artists after October. Like you can just go to them individually and get it directly from them. So they're only available from ShortBox itself during the month of October. Don't wait till the last fucking minute. I was out of town the first year I got books. So I got them on the 30th because I wanted to make sure that I got some books. And I did not get home until the 1st. The download links are only available through ShortBox for the month of October, which means if you're stupid and you try to download them on the 1st when you get home, they're not gonna fucking be there. Download your books fucking promptly. Like I said, I challenge you to look through the Exhibitors page and like not find some new story or book or creator that just becomes your everything, you know? Which is the primary reason I wanted to do this video, and especially do it before October, so I can at least... My goal with this video is to just get one more person who might not have otherwise known of ShortBox to just come and see all of the good that's there. This is like a thank you, I suppose, to Zainab. Because without the comics fair, without ShortBox Books, without Comics and Cola, I probably would not, at the very least, I would not have known as early as I did in my life. Because, like, I was right out of high school. I would have been fucking stupid. I would not have known then that there were such holes in not just the things that I'm interested in and like, but in the availability of them. Indie comics weren't particularly accessible to me for like such a long time because we had boys club comic shops in this tiny fucking town. And I also didn't have home internet until after I graduated high school. So it's not like I was mining the internet for a lot of things. I swear to God, it's a Susie Izzard joke, but I couldn't find it. But it was like about like an interest in, was it archaeology? I think that was a joke. I will paraphrase it. But The joke was something along the lines of, I have a very passive interest in archaeology. Like, I just sit and wait for the, like, news and the interesting things to come to me. I was a very passive participant in my interests at the age of, like basically 10 to 20. It was a lot of sitting and waiting for something interesting to be put in front of me that I could obsess over. And not realizing that there's not just like physically, like you kind of just know that, because I had a great like world history high school teacher who made sure to teach us things that weren't necessarily on the curriculum. But he's retired now, and that's not illegal or anything. So that's fine. So it's like, I know there are things out there, but I was too passive in the knowledge that there's a world out there that I kind of didn't search for ways to seek it out. I kind of just accepted that, like, they're being region locked. I kind of just accepted that. Okay, they started moving the fucking crane outside and it was really loud. I think my point I was making was, I took the knowledge that there's like a world out there and probably things I'd be interested out there, and just considered them like movies, like they're just region locked and I couldn't access them, not realizing that the internet's fucking huge and infinite and you can find fucking anything and everything. So without like comics and cola, that's a headspace I would have stayed in, and I don't think it's nearly as bad now, especially after living through the height of the pandemic like we all have, and we all found so much stuff out there. Like, I think it's less of a problem now, but there might still be one or two people who don't realize it's just, there's so much out there that is readily available to us, and the comics fair always is just such a good reminder of that. I would really, really hope that you go look, I put the links down on the bottom as well, of some archived posts from the ShortBox Blogspot account. You'll have to like pick and choose and like hunt through the tags to find everything, but I really suggest going and looking at the past subscription boxes and the artists and the books that are there, because some of them have been reprinted and they are still available. I believe through Silver Sprocket. Some of them. Not all of them and not a lot of them, but some of them. So going and looking through past boxes, and like, you'll find an artist, you will find someone whose art speaks to you, and a book that's going to mean a lot to you. You'll discover something new. I guarantee it. And the same breath, I would suggest, I couldn't find like on the site like an archive of just a list of past exhibitors. If it exists, please tell me, because I also want to look through it, because there's definitely like years I've gotten like some books and then hadn't had a chance to go back through the others. Also scroll the ShortBox, the Comics Fair Instagram, and just like look back through like past posts to find like previous years artists. Because I also guarantee you will find somebody new that way too. It's just, I wanted to share my appreciation for Zainab's work, and not like praising her for, like, I don't want to put it on her and take away from the artists to say that these things wouldn't exist without her. But her work has reminded me how accessible they are. They've reminded me how much there is beyond just what I can see. That there's always just a step further I can go and find something new and cool that I never would have thought of or found if I just been sitting on my couch scrolling Instagram because Lord knows those algorithms are whack. So this is my love letter to ShortBox and Zainab's work, and a sincere hope that there's just like one person out there who maybe hadn't looked past the shelves at their local comic shop and realized that there's so much new, interesting work out there, and it is very easily accessible and available to you. That's my sincere hope. And thank you to Zainab for making me a better and more interesting person and a more interested person. Like, I wouldn't be able to identify what holes there are in the work that I'm reading without like getting that nudge, that reminder from Zainab, like even just in her comics and cola days, that there's always something out there that's new and that'll grab me. And that's really fucking cool. And can't thank her enough for that. Next year, Zainab will be taking a year-long break, and I'm very excited for her because I'm like selfishly very excited to see what she works on when she has the time to like work for herself and create and write for herself. Very excited to see what that looks like. I'm also just like, damn, like you deserve a lovely vacation break from all of the big work that you've done. So I really hope that it's everything she needs and wants it to be. So it's like the other like smaller goal of mine with this video was like convert just like one person to loving ShortBox who's going to be excited for Zainab's return in 2027. Just like one person who wouldn't have known about it before now to know that something cool as shit is going to come in 2 years. In 2027's ShortBox Comics Fair is going to fucking rule, and be excited for that because like there's so fucking many of us who appreciate the amount of work that Zainab does with this and appreciate her taste and her thoughtfulness in choosing the artists and the work that she does, that I just like, if I can just make one more person also care and be excited, that's all I need with this video. That's my whole goal, if that made sense. This is a very kindly parasocial video, but like I need you to know there's a comics fair and it just puts good shit in front of you, and it is a lot of work, and I just want to show my appreciation for the amount of work done in facilitating this every single fucking year. Good job. Just, that's it. I definitely fumbled my way through this because words are a struggle, because like I said, it's like 8 a.m. Potential spam is calling. So that's the video. I thank you if you made it this far. I hope you at the very least watched these end bits. Please check out all of the artists listed in the description because they're obviously all fucking phenomenal and fantastic. Please check out the ShortBox Comics Fair. Mark your fucking calendars. October is going to be great. October is not about spooky shit. It's about indie comics. Okay? If you skipped the middle bit talking about the physical books, I mean, you can go back and watch it because I worked hard on that part too. But I get it. But check out the artists down in the bio because they're fucking great also. I do hope you stayed and watched at least these end bits because these are the most important parts of the video. And thank you. Thanks. I love you. Thank you for being here. I don't know how to end. I don't know how to end videos yet. Goodbye.